Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel and welcome to another episode of Red Rider's Viewers Rides. It's episode 19 guys, and it's kind of hard to believe that we've been doing this for that long, but it also doesn't feel like it's that many episodes for how long I've been doing it. I try to get them out every month, but we don't always have enough photos to make an episode every month. So you guys got to be sending me your pictures. And if anybody is new to these episodes, you don't know what they're about, this is just an opportunity for my viewers to be able to show off their bikes to the rest of my audience and to me. And I share them in a slideshow, and I think it's just a great way to help the YouTube community come together. So people like to comment on each other's bikes in the comments and stuff, and it's really fun. So if you want to know how you can participate in one of these episodes, you can read the description of this video, or you can wait till the end of the video and I'll give you all the details. And before we get into this slideshow, there's just a couple things I wanted to mention. First of all, we are praying for everybody in Florida today that this Hurricane Milton is not going to be too devastating for you guys. And I hope that you guys have been able to get out of wherever it's going to be dangerous. And hopefully they don't have to cancel Forgotten Angels. But even if they do end up canceling the camp out, I still plan on going down to Florida, and I will just spend a week there helping them clean up their property or something like that, because I have the tickets already. So as long as the airport's still open, I'm gonna be heading my way down to Florida in the next couple of weeks. And I know that it's scary, but if things end up not being able to happen with the camp out, I would encourage people who are planning on going to Forgotten Angels to still go and help clean up the property. That's what I'm gonna do if that's the way that things end up going. But I'm really praying that things do not end up being that bad. I'm really hoping that this hurricane kind of calms down a little bit before it makes landfall. Another thing I wanted to mention, anyone who's maybe noticed, you've probably seen that Phil C has had quite a few slides in like the last 8 maybe episodes of Viewers Rides he's been in. So he's had a slide in each episode, and it's just kind of documented one of his motorcycle trips that he does, I think, pretty regularly, these pretty good rides. But this will be the last episode showing Phil's trip. So if you guys want to go back and look at some of the older episodes, you might be able to spot some of the ones that he's in and just kind of see his trip progress. And then the last but not least thing that I want to mention before we get into the slideshow is one of my loyal viewers, Upside Down Dog. He used to always be in the comments section. He would literally comment on every single video. He was a great encouragement to me, just with the nice things that he would say, and he's participated in a couple episodes of Viewers Rides. Unfortunately, in the last episode of Viewers Rides, when I contacted him to let him know that the episode was coming out with his bikes in it, I got a response back from his wife saying that he had passed away on August 11th. So the first slide is going to be dedicated to him. I just wanted to do a little bit of a memorial slide for him since I heard the news from his wife. And if any of you recognize that name or think you know who I'm talking about, or if you just want to express your condolences to his family, you can do that in the comments. And with that being said, guys, we're just going to get right into the slideshow, and I'm going to just sit here and blabber away in the background as I always do. So I normally just kind of talk away in the background of these videos for anybody who doesn't know, and most of the time it's just an opportunity for me to give you guys a little bit of an update about what's going on in my life and in the Red Rider garage. As you guys might have saw, I've got this little Yamaha TY250 sitting on the bench behind me, and I actually was trying to get him running, and I'm not finished trying to get him running yet, but I'd started to get things kind of gone over. I went over the carburetor a little bit, made sure that it was looking good, and it was looking like brand new, and it is brand new, but it looks like it was never run. The bike doesn't have any spark, so I opened it up to look at the points, and the points are very rusted and corroded. So I've got a little bit of work to do on those. I want to clean them up and see if maybe cleaning them up will get them to spark for me. And if I can get them to spark, then I'm going to try to get this little motor running. But sadly, the further that I started getting into this thing, the more I started realizing that it had amateur written all over it. And I'm not to say that I'm a professional, but luckily I have a dad who has been able to teach me how to do things things properly, and I take pride in doing things the right way. Some people aren't like that, and this bike has just the signs of a person who didn't really take pride in doing things the right way. They just kind of liked to do things the quick way. So the further I got into this little Yamaha, and I haven't even gotten very far into it, the more I've realized that I got ripped off, and it's kind of a little bit embarrassing because the more that I look at it, the more I'm like, man, these things are so obvious. They're things that I should have checked, and I definitely know better for next time. But this was my first time actually making like a motorcycle purchase on my own, and I probably could have known the things to check for if I would have prepared myself beforehand and maybe like written some stuff down or just, you know, thought about it. But I didn't really think about it. I didn't think about checking like the transmission to see how well it shifts. This one does not shift very well at all. There was a couple other little things that I just would have never even thought to check, like the tank doesn't even fit this chassis, so the tank is obviously not off of this bike, and just shows me that the guy was just like totally lying through his teeth about the fact that he had been riding it recently. And it's obvious that the case has been split on it at some point. When I took the cover off of where my rotor and everything is, there's like bolts missing, there's bolts rounded off in there from the cases being undone before and then put back together. But I definitely have learned a lesson, and I'm just thankful that it was a few $100 lesson rather than a few $1,000 lesson, and I'm hoping that I can still salvage something from this bike. So I'm gonna get the points on it cleaned up, and I'm gonna see if I can get the bike started and at least see what kind of condition the motor is in. It does turn over. It doesn't feel like it's got a whole ton of compression. The spark plug looked good, but then again, I'm not sure if this guy ever had the bike running at all or if he just totally lied to me about everything. I actually got pretty frustrated with it when I was working on it yesterday, and just the further I got into it and the more just realizing that the guy just totally ripped me off. We'll see how easy it's gonna be to get this bike running, and depending on how much of a project it's gonna end up being, it's gonna have to go on the back burner while I work on the bikes that I have that I know run and that are rideable. Unfortunately, the TY project probably are not happening as soon as we all would like them to, but that's okay because we've got a lot going on when it comes to the Harleys. So my dad's shovelhead is one of the bikes that's going to be going back up on the bench, and I know it just came off the bench, it's just got finished, and it also was my first ever transmission rebuild, which the transmission seems to work fine, but it also has a leak, so it seems as though the main seal's leaking on it already, which I don't know why it would be leaking because I didn't do anything to damage it. Like, I was super careful with it. I even put like extra sealant around the outside of the main seal. So my dad's bike's gonna be going back up on the bench, and I'm gonna be pulling the primary off once again, and I'm gonna be taking a look at that leak, and hopefully it's not anything too annoying to have to get to. It shouldn't be too bad. It should just be a seal, hopefully. And I don't remember, actually, I don't think I put a cork gasket in there because there was like a little oil passage in where the main seal goes. There looked to be a little hole for oil passage, and I tried to figure out what that was for, but I couldn't find anything in my manual that actually talked about that. And I don't really know what year this transmission is, and I'm definitely not a professional when it comes to this stuff. I'm still learning a lot, but thankfully it's just a seal. There's nothing wrong with the way that it shifts. It seems to shift just fine, and it kicks over just fine, as you guys saw if you watched my Kickstart video. So yeah, that's just one of the things we're going to be working on in the near future here, and Johnny Crash will probably be the next one to go up on the bench after the shovel head is fixed up, because there's some stuff I want to do on my Dyna, and I actually want to put a solid mount engine kit in that, which I'm super excited to do. And we aren't going to buy one, we're going to make one, because my dad figures that they're easy enough to make, and why spend the money on buying one when you can make one? So that's that's kind of the update with me, guys. That's what's coming up in the near future, and I am not giving up on this little TY, as frustrated as I am with the guy who sold it to me and took my money for something that he knew was probably only worth a third of the price, or maybe not even worth anything, with some of the damages and stuff that are on it. But you know what, it's a learning lesson for me. So next time I go and buy a motorcycle, I'm gonna be checking out all of those things that I have noticed on this thing. And there's definitely no shortage of other projects to keep me busy if I end up having to put this on the back burner. I feel like these are gonna be quite tricky to get parts for too. I called my Yamaha dealership. They couldn't get a manual for me, so I'm thinking that parts is gonna be like an eBay hunting kind of thing. And hopefully between the two bikes, I won't need to get too many major parts. But that's just the nature of restoration projects, especially when you're working on stuff that's like 50 years old. And we're kind of used to it around here. So I'm not gonna complain about it. I'm just going to do my best at getting it done, and hopefully sooner rather than later. But we're just gonna see if I can get this bike running. That's going to be the determining factor of how much time I end up spending on it at this point in time. And like I said, I've got like 3 motorcycles that I know run and that are rideable, so those are kind of more priority for me than getting into a crazy project that's going to end up consuming the entire garage, because it's literally gonna have to come apart to the last bolt. And anyway, guys, now that we are at the end of the slideshow and I've probably been talking for way too long, I've got a couple more things to say before you guys leave. So I just wanted to let anybody know, if you're looking to send in photos of your motorcycle, please, please, please make sure that they have a high resolution or a high pixel count, whatever you want to say. I'm not a super nerd about that kind of stuff. All I know is that the less pixels the photo is, the smaller it normally is, and the more blurry it's going to be. We try to make these episodes viewable on like a desktop size computer, so if your pictures are too small, they end up super blurry by the time they're big enough to fit on a desktop screen. So please just make sure you send large, clear photos, send some information about the bike, let us know what state you are from, or town, or province, wherever it is, and your first name too, because that kind of stuff is just kind of fun. It just adds a little bit more of a personal element to these episodes. And if you want to know where you can send them, look in the description of this video. You'll find my email and whatever information you need to know. Also, guys, I do have stickers for sale, so if you like the little logo that's on my YouTube handle and you want that as a sticker, then I'll put some information in the description of this video. Also, if you guys are sending in pictures of your bike and you have a YouTube channel of your own, or you have a small business of your own that you want me to plug, just let us know where it is or the name or whatever, and we can make sure to mention that in with your slide also. And we would like to do a featured motorcycle each month. So something that you have had built at a shop, or you've built yourself, unique, handmade, custom fabricated, and that featured bike would end up having like 2 or 3 slides in an episode, and we would want to have detailed photos. So if you got like nice close-up photos and nice side profile photos of the bike and information about what's custom on it, nothing too lengthy because we do have a limited amount of space for text that we can put in, but definitely like a little bit of a story behind the bike. It's something that we're kind of hoping to get rolling here because it would be super cool. But anyway, guys, I'm not going to take up too much of your time, and I thank you all for coming here to watch. And if you like what you see, guys, or if you just like me, or even if you don't like me but you like my bikes, then like, comment, subscribe, hit that little bell if you want to know every time I put a new video out. And like always, my lovely YouTube people, I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Peace.